Hello and welcome. It is Thursday, June 3. For those of you looking at your screens and going, who is this guy? My name is Jason Lombard. I am the pastor of media and administration here at Spencerville Church, and I am usually the one behind the camera. But this morning, Pastors Chad and Candace are on vacation, and I have the opportunity to address you for the weekly update and give you a rundown on some of the things that are happening in and around our church. You'll actually be seeing a little bit more of me in this venue over the summer months as we trade off vacation time in the office. These weekly updates are going to fall on me, but more on that in just a moment. I wanted to let you know a couple of things. Pastor Matthew is actually going to be preaching this Sabbath. As I mentioned, Pastors Chad and Candace are on vacation, so Pastor Matthew will be preaching. And while we're talking about the worship service, I wanted to actually give you an update on where we stand on that. Last Sabbath, we enjoyed the school graduation. Many of you enjoyed it from afar as you watched it on the live stream, as because of the capacity limits that we're in the church, we were only able to accommodate the families of the graduates. And the service went really well. We were blessed by the message that Pastor Andrea shared with us. But for this service, this is actually going to be the first service where we're actually going to be able to come back in person into the sanctuary. There is no pre-registration, no check-in, no seating requirements, and this is the big one, no mask mandate for those who have been vaccinated. So you can come to church, you can sit wherever you want, and if you've been vaccinated, you no longer have to wear a mask. Now, that said, you are still going to see people wearing masks. And so I just ask that you would persevere with some of us, you fellow church members, pastoral staff, guests that visit us. Persevere with us that if we're still wearing masks, it is because we are trying to be safe, trying to keep those around us safe, our friends, our loved ones, etc. I had mentioned to someone earlier this week that I was speaking to that for me, the return to in-person worship was more of a runway and less of a light switch. It wasn't something that we just turned back on and we rushed back to how it was, but it'll be more of a gradual return to worship and all of the things that come with it. If you've not been vaccinated, we're using the honor system. Nobody is going to be checking cards or anything like that, but we want to be truthful before men and before God. So what we would ask is that if you have not been vaccinated, you would simply wear a mask. We don't want to be mask police. We don't want to be in charge of checking cards, and we're not going to. But what would be helpful for us? Just self-qualify. Or here's another option. If you aren't vaccinated and you don't want to deal with the hassle of masking up indoors, join us outdoors. Our 9 a.m. service is, it's no longer capacity restricted. There are no masks required outside either. And from all of the science and all of the reading that I've done, the viral load outside is essentially zero. So it is extremely safe to be outside within relative close proximity to others, although I would ask that you defer to the comfort level of those around you before rushing up and hugging them or anything like that. But it is completely safe to be outside. Over the future weeks in this space, I am actually hoping to bring you an update on some of the things that have happened over the past year, with regard to media, with regard to growth that we've seen in several of our outreach channels. We've got some exciting partnerships that I'd like to talk about in the coming weeks. We really have, the building has been closed, yes, during COVID, But I praise God that this church community has continued to move forward. We have not rested on our laurels. And that goes beyond just the pastoral staff, which I've seen first person and I can tell you is the case. The membership, our small groups, those working on behalf of the world church, the divisions, the local unions and conferences, the work has very much continued. And I praise God that He has been faithful. He's kept many of us protected. He's kept us well, and we've been able to continue to move this whole thing forward. One last thing that I want to mention, and I'm going to let you get back with your day, as this is already longer than I was anticipating. I wanted to share that the weekly update newsletter that you see typically every Thursday from our staff, it's going to be moving to an every other week format for the summertime. That is in order to free up some resources to work on some other projects. It's because many of us are going to be traveling, and honestly, we see the readership and the number of you. We have analytics on the back end that tell us how many of you actually read it. And as is expected, because many people are traveling and otherwise engaged, the readership falls fairly significantly in the summertime, which is fine. We understand there are other priorities in life besides reading all of the updates that come from the church. While we hope you will stay engaged and continue to read, we have made the decision to move to an every other week format. So look for this every other Thursday through the middle of August, at which time we'll come back to a weekly format, probably right before the school year starts at Spencerville Adventist Academy. So with that, I'm going to leave you to your week. I pray that your week has been blessed, and that we will get to connect at one of our worship services on Sabbath. Join us at 9 a.m. outdoors again, and at 11:30 for our indoor service. And just a quick note, we are now live streaming our indoor service. And so if you've been watching the live stream at 11:15, you're welcome to jump on at 11:15 still, but the worship service itself will actually begin at 11:30 now that we are live streaming the indoor sanctuary service. So with that, I leave you. Be blessed, and we will see you soon.